So
seems very blurry. Right. I think so small. I wonder if it's down. You can read it then. See, I mean, you can read it, but
that's not gonna work.
So
Yeah, I would say just point at that wall for now, because we're gonna have the thing that we should be looking for is that. That's legible.
you gotta just make sure you don't trip. Right behind you.
Yep.
think you're required for this one. Still need the speaker wire for this one. Let me grab another. See, now that looks fuzzy. That's really fuzzy. Actually, that's as close as I can get it. As we bring this projector closer.
And rotate the table.
Rotate this. All right, give me a picture of you.
Okay, weird.
Oh, I love it, Carrie.
Thanks.
10 out of 10. I did just hear some feedback when you unmuted there. Jesus Christ.
All right, can you hear me now? How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Oh, I have an echo now. Do you hear it?
I do not.
If I talk now? No, only when you're unmuted.
Okay, how about now?
Let me try. I can still hear a bit of an echo on me. I don't know how though.
I got two computers set up here.
But the other one's muted, I can see.
Yeah. Other one's muted and both, yeah, muted and is the speakers off as well.
And you sound fine to me. Do you want me to try coming back in?
Sure. See what happens.
Okay. BRB. Okay. Nothing right now.
Okay.
Let me try now.
Unmuted.
Still an echo. Hi, Garrett.
Hello.
Do you hear an echo for me when Carrie's unmuted?
No.
How about now while I'm talking? And then you're going to talk back to me?
And not hearing anything yet.
Okay.
Now I am.
Okay, I'm back. Let's see how this goes. Hey, Officer Brown, how you doing? Good to see you.
Pretty good yourself.
Getting by for now. We'll see in a couple weeks when the allergies kick in.
Officer Brown had an echo to me, and I still do as well. But I think it's gone as soon as you mute. Carrie, can you try unmuting your other computer and talking through that? Probably
All
should
right.
have.
Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have any output.
Oh, I can hear you on that.
I'm sorry, say it again. Sorry.
All
And
right.
I don't hear an echo.
Why can I not hear you at all?
No, I don't see you yet.
This is my desktop.
Let me see something here. Let me see. I just looked up participants. It don't have you on there.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Gary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carrie, I could hear you, and the echo's gone.
Okay. The host computer needs to be. Oh, here we go.
Hey, look at that. We got a mic that works.
You hearing any of that?
Yeah. Hi, we got a mic to work. Or hey, look at that.
I never said that. What, we need that other speaker wire.
Okay, I got one. Take this one. That'll work. How far do I need to get? Feel like I have to get really, I'm not sure. Is this even on?
I can hear you, Carrie.
I would hope so.
Yeah. It looks like Officer Brown has his hand raised. There's three Officer Browns on screen.
This is not working now?
It is not working now.
Hello.
Officer Brown.
Okay, so I want to explain this. We have some technical difficulties. So my immediate supervisor, Sergeant Linda Sellers, has signed on along with Captain Pettis. However, it shows that there's two Officer Al Browns, but one of them is actually my supervisor, Sergeant Linda Sellers.
I think I can rename her actually from here.
Okay, she's actually doing it herself as we speak.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we're trying out a new speaker system here. So hopefully people on Zoom can hear people live better. That's our goal.
That's a good thing.
We'll see if you make one small change and all of a sudden you have like massive feedback. So it's like very careful. And also our speaker output here is the projector. Time being.
Well, if you give me the other one, but before I know something. Do you need the one?
Go all the way around. Yep.
Oops.
Hello. Hello.
So we'll go to Tostados later. How about that? And can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ooh, you guys are really loud. In a good way. In a good way.
Okay.
So I feel like I have to get really close to this mic. So mic gets some getting used to.
Let me see if I can.
Although I guess you're physically right by me, so you probably are hearing me in general.
Yeah, I'm not having any trouble hearing you. Did someone try the mic further away from the laptop? I don't know if that matters.
Cable's kind of short, but I can move for a walk here. So about the laptop.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
It's a little echoey, but I think fine.
Yeah, the echo might be the nature of the room that we're in more than anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, so I don't need the mic for you to hear me or people in the room to hear me, so that's good news. And we're not getting feedback from it, so long term, we could use this so everybody could be heard. I will take a picture. This is a lot of wires. Also, I have the wrong computer. You can't see me talking. Okay. Yeah, that's better. Ooh, it is 7:05. All right, we have quorum.
Not yet.
Thank you. Yep, we need.
I don't think you're on Facebook yet either. That might be intentional, but I just wanted to say that. City's out celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
I was gonna say, I know all my friends are out having green beer.
I know there's like, I live really close to Mac's Pizza Pub, and they're having some kind of event because all up and down the street and walking to it.
Yeah.
It's a nice day out. Doesn't make it easier.
All right, so we got 4 board members, that's for sure. Do we have 15 members total?
Not yet.
You go outside enjoying the weather.
How many are we short?
Like 3? Am I counting wrong? Is there anyone in the room with you, Carrie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's Susan. Four, 5, 6.
I don't want to mess you up in your counting, but since I'm not technically a member, I don't know if that is a problem.
No, I wasn't counting you, but
Okay.
Anne, thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And Amanda, I counted 14. Is that right? Are we one person short?
I was gonna say, for one person short, I can literally walk down the hall and tell my husband who's watching TV right now to ding.
So someone check me on that. Oh, I just saw a name jump on. Hold on.
You have
I think we're good. I think we got it. Because Alex is now on. Yep.
No, she's right. Oh, no, she is. I put her in the backyard, but the landscapers probably let the gate loose.
I think that's Anne.
Yeah.
Let me see
Also
if I
have
can-
one person here, so
I think we got it because it shows 11 attendees. We've got our board members here and one person in the room. Our officers.
alrighty, I'm gonna go live on Facebook. I think. Oh, one of the screens. There it is. Too many. All right, well, we'll get started once that is booted up. All right. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm live streaming from the Sunny Kim Room at the Madisonville Rec Center on St. Patrick's Day. Very warm. This is fantastic. A quorum is present, and I will call this meeting to order. Please join me in a moment of silence. All right, thank you. Now, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time, I will turn it over to Amanda Mahaffey, our communications chair, to review how this hybrid, mostly online meeting will work.
Hey guys, happy St. Patty's Day. So just real quick, for those of you that are joining us via Zoom, you should see some controls down at the bottom of your screen, one of which is a Q&A button. And if you click on that, and feel free to drop any questions you have throughout tonight's meeting in the Q&A area. Even if it's unrelated to what we're talking about, it's a great holding area. That way we can kind of circle back to people and their questions as it is appropriate. We will try to answer questions as it relates to the topics we're talking about. If there's anything that doesn't really relate, we'll kind of circle back to it at the end of the meeting when we have our kind of open agenda item area. If you're not on Zoom, if you're joining us via Facebook, if you have questions that you would like asked in the meeting, you can feel free to leave a comment on our live stream. We'll be monitoring that. Just know that there's a bit of a delay in between the two. So we might have already moved on, but we'll try to kind of come back. And if we don't answer it live, I'll try to type in an answer for you guys out there on Facebook. You can, if you're in Zoom, use the chat feature to personally directly message somebody. If you have something you would like to ask them, or if you need help with anything, feel free to use that, but try to ask your questions in the Q&A. I know some of the panelists, you might not be able to use the Q&A feature, but for everybody else, you should be able to use that. You can also use the raise your hand feature. Again, down at the bottom of your screen, you should see that. So if you don't want to type out your question, if you'd rather just ask it, or if you just have something, a statement or comment to add to the discussion, feel free to raise your hand, and Kiri will be able to take you off mute again, just as we kind of roll through in the Q&A part. I think that's everything. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys.
All right. Thanks for that. If you're at home and there's a second or other person also watching with you at home, please write both your names in the chat so we can record your attendance. And we're going to skip straight to the police department. We've got a good representation today from District 2. Officer Brown or Captain Pettis, if you'd like to take it away, we appreciate it.
Okay, I'll go ahead and let Captain Pettis, and I'm also accompanied by my immediate supervisor, Sergeant Linda Sellers. I'll give those two the floor first in the event that they want to get their say on first.
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to kind of give you guys some updates on some specific things that are going to be going on in District 2. And also, I'm sure most of you been watching the news and you heard about the incident that took place in Oakley. So I'll give you an update on that. And then if anyone has any questions, I can certainly take questions. So you probably already received a letter, traffic initiative letter from Sergeant Sellers that went out, I guess about a week and a half ago, just advising all of the 14 neighborhood community councils that we would be engaging in a traffic initiative that's set to start actually this Sunday. It's going to run for 14 days, and that's going to be in all of the district neighborhoods. And you were encouraged to solicit like locations that were problems in your neighborhoods to Sergeant Sellers to incorporate those into the traffic plan. So that'll be starting this Sunday. And then earlier today, we had an incident at the Oakley Square at the Target. It actually was not an active shooter situation. It was really just a shooting in the parking lot. And not that that's commonplace at that location, but it certainly was not kind of just a open air active shooter situation. And we do believe we're going to be able to make an arrest in that situation because all of the individuals involved have been identified. So there'll be more forthcoming on that in the future. And I guess if anyone has any questions for me, specific to me, I can let either Sergeant Sellers have the floor or unless you have questions for me.
I'm not seeing any questions, but for the, I'll go ahead and just to clarify for the traffic kind of enforcement program, like kind of what's the inspiration there? Is this like a citywide program? Is it just District 2?
It's not citywide. Basically, I just know in District 2, we've been getting a lot of complaints. I know Pleasant Ridge has been complaining a lot about Langdon Farm and Montgomery Road. I think there's been several areas from different neighborhoods, and they've been complaining a lot about just people speeding, a lot of complaints near the public schools where people are not adhering to the speed limits and the traffic laws. So we've been getting a lot of, I guess, just requests for some traffic enforcement. So that's how it started. But it was from a particular community council. So we didn't want to just favor one over another. Everybody, every neighborhood should have the benefit of, some increased traffic enforcement. District 2 also did get some additional police visibility funds for the summer, the mayor's summer crime prevention initiative. So we are targeting particular hotspot locations in each neighborhood. So you will see probably a small increase in officer visibility in some of the hotspot locations in Madisonville.
We do have one other question for you in the chat. Is this, is this going to be ticket based? Like, is this mostly giving out speeding tickets and maybe stop moving violations? Is there like a level of this where it's like warnings? Like what's on that spectrum? Like how were we leaning towards?
I think it depends on the violation and the officer. There's no mandate for X amount of tickets. There's no quota. It really is to kind of just present a police presence and let people know, that the police are ramping up their traffic enforcement efforts, so that if they need to slow down in school zones, or if they need to not, be speeding in certain areas, it really is more of a deterrence as opposed to, let's just go and hand out a whole bunch of tickets. But it's certainly in cases where it's appropriate. It's the officer's discretion whether to give a warning or to just issue a citation.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Amanda, are you seeing any other questions online by chance?
Not at the moment.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Captain Pettis, for joining us. I think that hopefully that clears things up for folks.
You're welcome. And I'll let Officer Brown give the statistics for Madisonville.
Thank you.
Okay, before I actually get started, I'm going to actually turn it over to Sergeant Linda Sellers first, and then I'll end it.
All right.
I would just like to introduce myself. I am Sergeant Linda Sellers. I am filling in the spot that Sergeant Rodney Pompey was the sergeant over the neighborhood liaison unit. I have spoken with a couple people in Madisonville reference to speeding and other issues. So Officer Brown's been there a long time. If you all have any questions for me as far as any assistance you may need in Madisonville, I've been in District 2 for over 13 years. I was a detective here, and now I'm a sergeant here, and I've been here for 5 years as a sergeant on a relief. I ran third shift, and so I know the area pretty well. Thank you.
Thank you. Officer Brown.
Okay, before I get started, if we have some new ears on the meeting here, I want to start off by giving my phone number. It's 513-979-4429. I just want to touch real quick on the traffic enforcement thing that we're going to be doing here starting on Sunday. I spoke with Shannon. We had a good lengthy talk the other evening. And, I want everybody here in Madisonville to really understand that this is really protecting our community. I do believe, and from my experience, that most of our speeding is coming from other communities, cutting through Madisonville, coming off the Indian Hill, the Madeira, Mariemont. And most of our problems and issues are on the boroughs: Madison Road, Rose Street, Bramble, and Chandler. And they also come off the Wetzel and Kenwood Hill as well. So, and these are people that's cutting through. I've stopped people throughout, and most of these people live in other communities, and I really try to stress to them about how important it is for them to drive in our community as though they drive in their own. You know, we have kids out here, it's getting warm, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to reiterate what we're not targeting Madisonville. We're trying to make Madisonville safer by an awareness thing. And hopefully this will send a message to the surrounding neighborhoods that when you come through Madisonville, please be respectful and drive safely. I've got a complaint that we talk probably twice a week in reference to the speeding that takes place just on Bramble alone. This individual's car has been struck a couple of times and speed was the factor. So there's a lot of frustration out here, but hopefully just us being out here a little bit more can slow people down and just make Madisonville a lot safer as we change over to be bigger and better out here in Madisonville. So with that being said, just over the last 28 rolling days, we had 2 aggravated assaults. We had 3 theft from autos. We had 8 personal/other thefts for the last 28 days. So if there's any questions or concerns.
Yeah, I think the only question that we got in the chat was, are we allowed to advertise this on social media? Is on top of that, is the district going to promote it to let people know?
The district is promoting it. It's on District 2's Twitter page. I believe it's also on the City of Cincinnati's Twitter page. And you can definitely feel free to promote it on your community council page.
Okay. That helps a lot. That helps a lot. So we will be able to signal boost that and let people know. We do have another question in the chat. First, District 2 police do a great job taking care of the area. Second, like the addition of the stop signs in Westlawn and Chandler, a bad intersection. It's not really a question, but
Well, I would say this with the stop sign at Chandler and Wetzel, for so many years, there was never a stop sign there. So basically what I'm doing is just trying to bring awareness to everybody that's passing through that intersection. I've spent a little bit of time there to say, hey, there's a stop sign. We got to slow down, because I'm sure how we get, I don't know, just accustomed to driving through there without that stop sign there. So we're just trying to not even, ticket everybody to come through there, but just try to make it awareness for everyone that we do have some new stop devices in place.
yeah, and that was normal in the other times that we did this, that it kind of took a while for people to get used to the new traffic pattern.
Yes.
So I'm not seeing any other questions for you. Oh, wait. May have just popped up. Oh. Yeah, so kind of a question about the railroad bridge on Madison at Kenwood. I don't know if you had any kind of feedback from that, either for the specific incident this week or just in general.
So we did have a truck that struck the railroad overpass at Madison and Kenwood. So the unfortunate thing is that this has been a problem off and on for years. And it was my understanding that because that road has been paved over a couple of times, it's changed the height of the roadway. So it's causing people to be misled to believe that they have more room than they do. However, then I know it's been quite a while ago, but in one of the meetings, it was said that the road that's right up under the overpass has been divvied out somewhat. So I'm not really sure, just people not paying attention, but I also know that there's a warning light on the right-hand side of the road. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. But it flashes when your vehicle is too high. There's a meter there. But I didn't know that up until just a few years ago, because that was my concern. Like, why don't they get a warning? And a traffic cop had been out here for years. He said, there is a warning. And he pointed out the light. I went back and looked, and sure enough. But if you're not paying attention or you're not acquainted with it, you'll miss it. But it flashes when you're too high.
Yeah, and I think that it's set up so that when that gets tripped, that laser gets tripped, it actually changes the cycle of the traffic light immediately.
Exactly. But if they're speeding, guess what? it's almost like a no-brainer. They're gonna hit the bridge if they're speeding.
Some people try to beat the yellow, I think, it seems like.
Absolutely.
I will say that me and Kathleen, the transportation chair, last week we had a meeting with OKI, just trying to see what kind of data they can provide for us to help the community out. And they did mention that that bridge is the #1 for strikes in the entire OKI, like 15, 16 county region, which would be probably no surprise to anybody who lives here. But I did get that confirmation. So, Amanda, are there any questions online?
I just see another question in the Q&A related to stop signs, but I don't know if you want to address it now or want to come back to it.
Yeah. So Chandler and Wetzel was converted into a 4-way stop on Tuesday. And then yesterday, there was another one added at Blaney and Windward, where that big dip is. We had received a lot of complaints from folks on there, really worried about the reckless driving and speeding because of that dip. And there's been some crashes there because of it and some property damage. So, and there is no sidewalk there, and frankly, probably never will be. So you've got people on the road. So we had a couple of streets like that. Just keep hitting us up with any feedback, anything that you notice different about the traffic flow at these intersections. We are at a point where the folks who work at City Hall, like the traffic engineers, they are much more receptive to these ideas and much more interested in public safety on the public right of way. So I would, so things are changing fairly rapidly in this space, especially with the new leadership, the new political leadership at City Hall. So a lot of announcements are coming, a lot of different programs and initiatives are going to be coming down over the next year or two. So, any and all feedback that we can get from the community allows us to make sure that we're in line, to make sure we get just as much treatment as the 51 other neighborhoods in the city. So if there aren't any other questions, doesn't look like it. Thanks for coming out, Officer Brown and Sergeant Sellers.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'll switch over to in-person to Brian Cervisi, our local rec center manager.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for coming here today. It's great to see all these shiny faces. So one thing that I wanted to touch base on is the pool. I know a lot of people ask questions about the pool all the time. What are we going to do about the pool? And we plan on opening, provided that we can get enough lifeguards hired departmentally. The way it works is we rank the pools based on needs, seniority, and other areas. Pools that have been open the past couple of years, and then where we fit on that list, then what we do is hire lifeguards, and then however many lifeguards we get, that's how many pools we can open. So it is a hope that we will open this year. We do need lifeguards. If you have anybody that lives in your house or on your street or in your family somewhere that that's between the ages of 15 and I don't know, 100. I don't know if we're going to get 100-year-old lifeguards, but it's something to try. So we are looking to hire lifeguards. We also are hiring people for summer day camp. Our summer day camp is enrolling right now. We're about halfway full. So we're pretty good on staff. We could use 1 or 2 more. So if you know anybody that's looking to work with kids over the summer, we're there for you. Just want to let everybody know we are open 7 days a week. We're open Monday through Friday from 9 to 9. And then on the weekends, we're open from 9 till 2 to 9 to 2 usually. A lot of times we're open later for rentals and different activities. Thank you. Anyone got any questions? Questions?
Yeah, I mean, you're right here. I can grab you. I will say that I did get Terry Barnum from a local library branch. He did contact me saying and apologizing that he wouldn't be able to make it. But he did want to remind folks that the renderings and the drawings for the new library location that will be just across the street there is on their Facebook page for the Hamilton County Library System, as well as in person. And their goal is to move into the new location before the end of the year. It's going to have more books than we have now and more gathering space. So it'll be a lot easier for community residents to mingle and run into folks. So we're pretty excited for that. And they are still keeping the existing building. So we don't have to worry about that going away. Brian, I do have one question for you. How much will lifeguards be paid this year?
Probably more than most private pools. Last year it was $11, so it'll be at least 11.
So at least $11 from last year.
$11.
Yeah, and they're trying to be competitive.
Yeah, and yeah.
So that's encouraging. Every little bit helps.
Yes.
Let me see if I've got anybody from our local schools. I'm not seeing anyone. Let me double check. If not, we're gonna move over to our first special guest today, Hamilton County Treasurer Jill Schiller.
Thanks, Carrie. Hi, everybody. Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy first day of the tourney. It's going to be a mess out there today, huh? In a good way. Thank you for having me. I am pretty new to the treasurer's office. I took office just this past September, though I was elected in 2020 due to a weird little quirk in the tax year and the cycle. And I'm really trying to get out more into the communities and just talk about what the treasurer's office does, what we can do for you, and resources we can provide. I'm from Philadelphia originally, but I've been here since 2011, excuse me. Both of my kids were born here, so we call them our anchor babies, to make us, pretty much natives by blood. And I'm a lawyer. I worked in the Obama White House for 2 years in the Office of Management and Budget, and have been just thrilled with this new office. And I think you're gonna hopefully be excited about some of the things we're planning on doing. So the Hamilton County Treasurer is responsible for collecting 3 types of property taxes: real estate, manufactured homes, and personal property. The taxes are paid twice a year. The first half was just due January 31st, and the second half will be due June 20th. That's for folks who are not in escrow with their bank. So if you get a bill, if you've paid your mortgage off, or if you put a certain amount down, then you'll get a bill from us directly. Real estate taxes, the amounts are determined by 2 main factors. One of those is the value of the property is determined by the Hamilton County Auditor. And the other factor are tax levies, most of which are decided by the voters in any given municipality. So for us, it's the city of Cincinnati. Other villages and townships have different tax loads depending on what they voted on. Now, one of the things I think is important is that property owners need to be aware that you have the right to challenge your property value. Challenges are filed with and heard by the Hamilton County Board of Revision, and that's comprised of 3 members: someone from the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, and the president of the Board of Commissioners right now, Commissioner Summer Odumas. You can file a challenge on your valuation between January 1st and March 31st. And you can find forms by calling the Board of Revision at 946-4035. I have a presentation that I'll forward to Carrie, if that works for you, Carrie, which will have a lot of this info with it. Because you can also access the info at the Board of Revision website. You can pay your taxes a number of ways. Ideally online. It is $1.50 for the transaction. It gets taken out immediately, and it saves you the time and hassle of either coming down to our office or mailing in a check. However, we do obviously accept cash or checks at our office in room 405 at the Todd Portune Center for County Government, which is at 138 Court Street on the 4th floor. Checks, money orders are accepted. We do accept credit cards, but they charge a significant fee, and we don't get that. We can't control it. So we just like people to understand that. Now, importantly, if you or someone you know needs help paying their taxes, first things first, contact legal aid because they can provide actual financial help to you as well as legal representation. And also contact our office to ask to talk to somebody about a delinquency contract. That is a way to portion out your late payments into regular payments until you're caught up. You need to remain current on your taxes as you move forward, but this has helped hundreds of people keep their homes during tough times. Right now, during the COVID-19 emergency, which hopefully is starting to fade, but the effects will be felt for a long time. The county can pay property tax bills for households at or below 80% of median income for a period of 6 full months from any time between March 2020 to now. You can apply for that at the JFS website, which will be in the presentation that I give you. And Community Action Agency also has funds available to people who need help due to COVID-related financial stress. So property tax, utilities, water bills, and HOA. So you can qualify for that as well. There are a lot of avenues for help out there, and we just want to make sure that everybody understands that and knows what's available. Another program that we offer that we think is helpful, especially to folks on a fixed income or something like that, is the Treasurer's Optional Payment Program, or the TOP program. It's a free program that allows homeowners to prepay your future taxes. So you pay each month instead of a lump sum twice a year. You can break it down to a solid monthly number, it's coming, and it makes it a lot easier to budget. Anybody's eligible to do this. You can do that at our website. So please do think about and recommend the TOP program for anybody who might find it easier to be on a fixed budget. Also, I want to talk about the homestead exemption, which is actually an auditor's program, but it relates so much to what we do. We just want to get the news out there because we definitely don't catch everybody who is eligible for this. All homeowners who are either 65 or older or have a permanent disability and live in their own home and make less than $34,200 are eligible for the homestead exemption, which is a reduction in property taxes for the primary residence of that qualifying homeowner. It's not huge, but it does take a bit off the taxes, making it easier to pay. And we really do want everybody who's eligible to take advantage of that. Finally, we are here for all your questions. You can contact me personally, at jill.schiller@hamilton-co.org. Again, that's all in the thing info I'll send to Carrie. You can call us at 946-4800. And, we're looking at bringing new programs as well. As my team gets in place and really starts digging in, I think there are a lot of ways that we can work through charitable giving, et cetera, to help ease the property tax burden on folks who might have been longtime or legacy homeowners, to make sure that we are keeping them in their homes as much as possible. So those are some programs we're excited about researching and hopefully getting off the ground in the next year or so. But most importantly, I just want you guys to know that we can also be your linchpin to other forms of county government. If you need help or contacts or information or have questions, the folks in my office have been there on the whole a long time, and we are here for you and can direct you to the right person, even if it's not somebody in my office.
All right, thank you very much. Oh, we got a question here in the audience. Let me see if this will work. Go. Hand over the mic.
Yes, let me stand for here about.
We lost audio, Carrie.
A little bit closer. A little bit closer. Here.
The virus that we had. Say automatically put an increase. They really don't have to. They can.
I'm so sorry, but I'm missing most of this.
Okay. You want to you can talk to the computer. I think that'll work better.
I know with the property tax, I know every 3 to 4 years, Dusty Rhodes said they have to adjust it. Since we had this COVID and people was out of work, a lot of people got sick, passed away, why won't they freeze it for 4 or 5 years and to help the people in Hamilton County?
So that's a good question. I'm pretty sure that they're required by law to do it, and I don't think that there's an option by the legislature for them not to. Also, some properties go up, but also some do go down. It's more of just a rejiggering of property values depending on what's going on. I agree with you that we are trying really hard to work with people because it has been a terrible time. But unfortunately, I don't think that the legislature has provided us with a really great vehicle to do that in this instance. The revaluation was done in 20, and so it took effect last year. So everything that you've seen so far this year should reflect your new values. And if you have folks that you know that don't agree with their new valuation, please let us know. We can help get you in touch with the Board of Revision.
Well, that sounds good, but they could go ahead and put a request in to bypass it just to see what happened.
Yes, and that would take everybody. That's a great idea. And we would need everybody to contact their state reps to help make that happen.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
It's ORC, it's code.
Yeah. Property taxes laid out. Yeah. The requirement for reassessment. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anne, I see that your hand is up. Go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to our council to speak. Very good information. At a city council committee meeting this week, it was mentioned, I assume just for the city, that there might be a proposal coming forth as part of the mayor's overall package where legacy residents' taxes can be capped, and then those the taxes that aren't paid are passed on to the future purchaser. Do you know anything about that? And can the city do that alone, or is that going to require a statewide initiative? That's all.
So my understanding is that it would require a statewide initiative unless there's a home rule exception that I'm not aware of. That is definitely something that I can check with my staff and get back to you about. It sounds like a great idea and something that we should definitely look into. And so the problem is so much with county taxes sits in the state legislature. And since we don't even know who our state reps are going to be as of today, it's kind of a mess out there. I'm sorry, I don't have a more definitive answer.
No, that's, I sort of kind of mostly thought you wouldn't, but since there's no state legislator or city council member, I just took a shot. So, but thank you for that.
I'm pretty sure that would require state action.
Unfortunately. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Amanda, do you have any questions online?
No, we do not.
Okay. I think we'll thank you so much for coming out and talking to Madisonville. We'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, my kiddo did a preschool at John P. Parker, so it's close to my heart. So.
Oh, awesome. Fantastic. Love to hear that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our second special guest, Garrett Dino from Cincinnati Parks. I believe he is the land manager there, and he's got an update about Bramble Park for us.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. Like I said, Garrett Dino, land manager, Cincinnati Parks. Yeah, Carrie, I don't know if it's possible for me to share my screen. I put together a little presentation if that's possible. Otherwise, I could just kind of give you the bullet points if that's all right.
How about now?
Let me see. All right, can you see a PowerPoint now? Is that showing up?
It says you're sharing, but it's still black for me.
Okay.
Oh, there it
well,
is. There it is.
Did it work? Okay,
Yeah.
great. I was hoping I wouldn't sync the technology with this, so awesome. So yeah, like Carrie mentioned, I'm just going to provide kind of a, I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with the Bramble Park Stream Restoration Project, so just kind of a sort of a high level rundown of where we are with it to date. First and foremost, showing where Bramble Park is in relation to the rest of Cincinnati. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with that. As well as kind of the principal players involved. So from our planning and design division, unfortunately, they couldn't be here to attend this meeting as well. Cindy France is the project manager, Chris McGee is our architect. And then the contractors that are involved with, I'm sorry, I got also our division, natural resources. Crystal Courtney, my boss, manager, natural resources, myself, and then Drew Goebel, who's our conservation specialist. Also, they could not be here, but they're kind of providing the parks representation for this project. And the contract work's being done by Davy Resource Group. Craig on the left is kind of the project manager from their side, and Kevin is sort of in charge of the invasive species management and planting project. And the green area highlighted in the aerial map is the rough area of Bramble Park, as well as the surrounding property parcels. And right here, what we're looking at is a map of the flood area, sort of north. So this is Little Duck Creek. This is north of Bramble Park. So when we were looking at potential flood impacts or whatnot further down the watershed, we went back and looked further up the creek just to make sure that what we were planning to do in Bramble wasn't going to get blown out in the next 100-year rain event that we seem to have 2 or 3 times a year now. And it looks like at this point, after looking at the maps and working with Metropolitan Sewer District, as well as stormwater management, that it looks like our models are pretty good at this point. So the actual project going on at Bramble is highlighted kind of in the left on the aerial map. You can see there's a kind of a purplish colored polygon right there that follows the Little Duck Creek section that goes to Bramble Park. That corresponds to the area that's going to have the invasive species management done in it. So Davy's going in and removing the porcelainberry, honeysuckle, treating the ground cover that's through there, the euonymus winter creeper that's kind of does a really excellent job at smothering out everything else that may grow in its place. And then the actual stretch of the stream that they're going to be working in is kind of represented by that almost lime green color through the stream reach, as well as some added structures in there, which are little brown dots on the map and kind of hard to see in this, but we'll get into that a little bit. So I thought it might be helpful to kind of look at, the stream bank as a whole and what we are looking at with a healthy stream bank versus when we get to a point where it's really starting to erode and become an issue. So very top picture right there shows you what a pre-disturbance natural stream bank would look like, has vegetation around it, has kind of a lower floodplain and high. As this change in the environment, it will blow out and you get advanced erosion issues. And some of this may look very familiar if you've been through Bramble Park recently after the major rain events. You'll start seeing things falling into the creek, widening before it eventually finds a new point of balance where it's becomes stable over time. That's not something that we really want to happen in this case, because the part where it's going to stabilize is probably going to take the parking lot with it. So we want to make sure that we're stabilizing that stream in a way that's not going to damage Bramble Park for the long term. So some examples of those stream bank erosion issues and destabilization that's going on through that section of Little Duck Creek. This right here is right next to the little parking traffic circle that's there at Bramble Park. So this is right at the edge. Some of the ballards are actually in the creek now, so they're now contributing to slowing the water down, I guess, is a plus, but it's not really safe anymore because of that. So we're working to address those issues with that. Again, showing the infrastructure needs to be protected by the project. And these are some of the methods that Davy's proposing to utilize to actually protect that stream bank right there. So creating these, what they call riffle pull sequences, where the water has a chance to slow down, collect, move on. So it's not traveling through with quite as much force as it would as is going on right now, as well as armoring the bank with heavy rock and vegetation to really help stabilize everything. And of course, planting with native plants to fill in and take up the space really of the invasive species that were there. And on that little map, there were these kind of brown circles in that section of the stream. Those were these what they call Newberry rock riffles, which, not being a stream expert myself, I had to learn a little bit about this, and I thought it was kind of fun. But these rock structures that they put in, if you can picture kind of like a mountain stream or whatnot with the rocks in there, as the water flows over, it actually helps to really slow it down. So the series of these Newberry riffles, every time it hits that, slows the water down even further. So, you know, you wind up with a very slow moving stream that's not rushing through our clay and sand and very loose soils and just scouring it out. And that's going to be the main way that they're going to help to really slow that stream down and stabilize it. So since everything's leafing out now, you may recognize this here in a couple months. This is porcelain berry. It is very aggressive. It does an excellent job at growing up everything that it can find and smothering out the trees. And this is one of the main things that Davey's working on right now to remove. So if you see flags in the area right now or people at work, they just completed the first stage of invasive plant removal and control. So they've gone in, they've done the initial treatments of the porcelain berry, as well as, this is what it looks like right now, prior to them doing some of the debris removal. But also treating, you know, that winter creeper euonymus that I mentioned, which is what you're seeing here as far as that green ground cover. They're going in there, they've already treated all that. So probably in the next couple of weeks, you'll start seeing that crisp up and turn brown. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. And then of course they are using herbicides for this. If anybody's interested, I'm happy to share this information, you know, document. But one of the things that we really were key to make sure of was that the rates that they're using for the herbicides are as low as possible. We use any more herbicide to do the job than is needed. And one of the things in particular was when they were treating that ground cover, that euonymus, they were going with a higher recommendation than what we typically use in parks. That was one of the changes that we asked them to make. Might take a little longer, but again, gets the job done. It's less herbicide in the system, better all around. And then of course, afterwards, after treating the invasives, looking to plant the new native plants in its place to fill in those areas. This is kind of a list that they'd come up with. We're still waiting for the actual finalized plant list and design plans for final review and approval. But these were ones that they had initially suggested in their bid that would be suitable for that site. So at that point, right now, just kind of like final bullet point updates. Contractor, like I mentioned, is working on the first round of invasive vegetation control and brush clearing. They just wrapped that up, I think, last week. We're awaiting the final restoration planting species list and design plans for review. And I will be sure, or one of the other park representatives that I mentioned in the presentation will update the community with additional updates as we get them in the near future. All right, now I just have to stop.
Oh, might have lost Garrett. Hope that's not us. Oh, I got you.
Hopefully, okay. And Carrie, related to that from the questions as far as processes and doc, we have.
I think is that us or Garrett? Can I get a third? Oh. Amanda, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Garrett was breaking up for me too. I wasn't sure if it was me or.
Yeah, everybody's doing the same thing. Like in my. I can try if he's not able to make it back in. Yeah, I think Les, I see your questions. Yeah, I think kind of what he was describing is digging down will only make it worse because you're going to be collapsing essentially the walls of the creek in on itself. So it's more like trying to flatten it out a little bit and create pools. do believe the plan has like large rocks in spots and some natural cooling to kind of slow the speed of the volume of the water during flood events.
Yeah, Carrie, that's correct. And we're still waiting on those final designs to evaluate them as well.
Okay, yep, that's great to know. And you have any kind of link that we can share on how to handle invasive species, like that actual process that community members can go through, whether it's on their private property or not?
Certainly, I can send you some links, Carrie, that could be shared as far as invasive species management, as well as additional details about the plan, if anybody has any questions with that.
Okay, sounds great. Take a quick break here. Amanda, you have any questions online?
No, I think you covered everything. Nothing out here on Facebook.
All right, thanks so much, Garrett, for coming out. It's going to be very beautiful, hopefully, at the end of it. Great seeing investment in our natural parks.
Not a problem, Carrie. Thank you for having me.
Right. So I got a couple of updates for the president's report. The board on Monday confirmed a new chair for the history committee. His name is Wes Cunningham, and he is a professional historical archivist. He works actually at like a really fantastic company down in OTR. So we do get he can like the boss, the owner of the company, is very happy about employees doing side work in their local communities. So he'd be able to like borrow equipment, and he got his master's on a project in Louisville doing a community history project, trying to bring in, there was a construction project that was demolishing a part of a neighborhood. So he was able to get everybody together and get a good historical narrative saved before that demolition happened. So he's real excited. He wasn't able to make it with us tonight because he's home alone with the kids and had to put them to bed. If you have any questions, or any comments, you can contact him at history@ourmadisonville.com. Also want to let folks know that we received a letter from City Council Clerk's office letting us know about a public meeting for liquor licenses. So that meeting is on April 5th. It's Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. at Scotty Johnson's committee. And they're trying to just field any all public comment about any liquor license holders. So that would be a public way for folks to put that input in if they have any issues. For the most part, generally, the big issue is that when a liquor license renewal is up, the police department will send it, District 2 will send it to the community council, let us know, but then it's, respond back within 2 days. So it's really a really short window. And sometimes even with community opposition to a liquor license, it still can go through. So it feels like the biggest metric here is recorded violations that are actually reported to the police department. And even that's not necessarily a guarantee. So we have that notice should be in the minutes folder. I also have an update for the parking study. So the city, DCED, Economic Development, they had their meeting with the consultant yesterday. So that contract is moving forward. So I specifically talked to our development officer about a community open house to make sure that we have that same opportunity that Cuff got with this consultant. So that way everybody in the community can come together and meet this consultant and, hear from them how it's going to move forward. That way there's, that transparency and everybody is aware of what's going on. So the details for that are still being worked out. Like I said, they just started working together yesterday. But we're looking, and having that, is it going to be in person, hybrid, only online? that details haven't worked out yet, but the consultant is willing to be flexible and just do what they can to help out and do community engagement for this project. We're also working with MCIRC to create a presentation for Vice Mayor Kearney's Healthy Neighborhoods Committee. So she just has an open invite wanting all of the community councils and their CDCs to come to city council during her committee meetings and give a presentation about kind of the successes and challenges of each neighborhood. So we'll be sent on a date and I didn't get a confirmation yet, but we'll communicate that so everybody can watch from home. Her meetings are on Tuesdays at 12:30. So that gives you kind of idea of when we'll be doing that. On top of that, her committee has an open invite to come to communities, right? So that would be coming here to the rec center. So that way her committee meeting would actually be here in person. And so the entire community would have direct access to multiple city council members to give, public feedback about what's going on in the neighborhood. So we're going to be moving forward with that and trying to see what dates work for her committee to try to get them in here into the rec center so everybody doesn't have to go to them for their concerns. So we'll keep you updated on that. One thing Garrett didn't mention was that the Cincinnati Parks updated their website and they actually integrated it into the city's overall website. And so if you go and you check that out, you can see that Johnson Woods, Little Duck Creek Nature Preserve, and Morris Park next to on Kenwood there. Morris Park is the official name of it. That pocket part there, those are actually on their website now. And so that's been a nice success because you got every opportunity to kind of communicate more and show off more of the neighborhood, as well as clear up some information about where Little Duck Creek actually is. So that's a nice success. I remind folks that the city budget process is coming up, and so they're doing it differently this time. So the typical process is the city manager makes a budget, gives it to the mayor who edits it, makes any changes that they want, and then it becomes public and is sent to city council. And then you have public meetings for the community at large to put impact in, put their comments in. This year, city council is actually hosting meetings before all of that happens. That way, people can have their voice to city council before they get the budget, so they know where to go once they get the budget. So there's 2 meetings next month. Keep a lookout for those in case you're interested in engaging in it. I think they are both after hours. So that's really helpful to get people to actually be able to have the time to engage, to get more people. And I have a couple other events. I want to remind people that for the past 2 years, Waterworks has had a moratorium on shutoffs and late fees. And so in April, that is finally resuming. And they still have funds available to help folks out who might be behind on their Waterworks bill. So please, if you need help, let us know. Please let us know. Also, next week, all of next week, Sunday to Saturday, is sorta is actually going to be fare free on Metro and Access. So for typical riders, that's a nice discount for you. For anybody else who's interested, it's just you just walk on the bus and get to where you're going. Google Maps is a resource, but there's also another app called the Transit app that's even better to help you do your commute, figure out your time. So it's just something to be aware of for next week. It's a promo that they're running because of how high gas prices are. And finally, there's a litter hackathon coming up next month, hosted by the city and After Hours. You have Liz Keating, a city council member, who's running that, as well as the director of public services and director of Keep Cincinnati Beautiful. So Keep Cincinnati Beautiful is really active in our neighborhood, thanks to beautification member Alex Smith bringing folks in. So that's something to look into because litter is a problem everywhere, and so it's an open town hall to bring folks in and see what kind of ideas that they at the administrative level are missing. So we're gonna move on to committee reports. Got a message from Meek saying to contact him if you need help with waterworks. That's awesome. I'm gonna kick it over to Amanda to give an update about our newsletter for this year.
Sure. Thanks, Carrie. So a small team of folks have volunteered their time to help me with the newsletters this year. So we are working on getting a newsletter that we hope will be in your hands the week of April 11th. So look for that. It'll be coming out via mail. There will be some that will likely be hand delivered. And then we will probably have leftovers that we'll place at places around the neighborhood, like the library, CRC. So if you miss it that way, but we'll make sure we communicate on all of our various platforms when those go out. So you're aware. We'll have one available online as well, but really looking forward to that. We hope to have 4 out this year. So that's our goal. So we'll continue to communicate about those, but looking forward to getting this first one out for 2022.
All right, thank you. I think earlier I might have skipped a step. The treasurer's report is in the meeting minutes folder. If there is no objection, we'll go ahead and pass that to file for our records. So thanks, Anna, for reminding me. I think I missed that step. For our other committees, I'll just fill in for some folks here. In the meeting minutes, you have the beautification flyer. They had their first cleanup this past weekend, which was very successful. So if you're interested in joining, they have, for all their cleanups a year, they actually got coffee sponsorship donated by the Madison Place. And then they're trying to have some other sponsorships throughout the year for snacks and stuff like that. So if you check out that calendar, that'll give you more details. If you want to join, please contact Joan at beautification@ourmadisonville.com. We are planning a housing forum. It'll be a little bit different than the last time we did this. It was a little while ago we did it, but this one's going to be more of like a town hall style that we're planning. And so that way, it's probably on a weekend here in the early summer, late spring. That way we can kind of get more feedback from maybe the folks that you don't always hear from. And we're looking at having a couple of regional experts to come kind of give us their perspective on how things have been going with housing in the region and neighborhood, try to help connect people to resources, but also try to get that message that we don't hear from enough and try to get that out to regional leaders and local leaders. If you have any interest in helping plan that, you can contact Alicia at housing@ourmadisonville.com. And I do have to mention I Heart Madisonville Day. So again, that's going to be Saturday, April 16th. There'll be Easter egg hunt, 10 a.m. at Bramble Park. There may be the Easter Bunny might show up. We're also planning community bike ride in the afternoon, which will probably end up at a local establishment for like a happy hour. And then we're going to have a community table set up to help promote the community council, to help promote I Heart Madisonville Day, to have voter registration. And that will probably have to end up being at the library. But look for a flyer here within next week and definitely before the end of the month. So keep that circled on your calendar. And last thing, transportation, we have gotten some feedbacks for some folks who are concerned about pedestrian safety and access on Madison from MedPace to Wetzel. If you have any feedback about that or want to get involved, we need to make sure that we kind of look at everybody's kind of concerns and needs for the street. So by all means, if you're looking to get involved, please contact Kathleen at transportation@ourmadisonville.com. I think it's a lot, but we're starting to get the ball rolling here for the year for 2022. If we have any questions. Yes, Bill. We did have a rep from the park board earlier, and they left. but you'll be able to see that on our Facebook page. That full presentation should be as good update on the project for Little Duck Creek and Bramble Park. All right, so we're going to move to some of our agencies. See, Ms. Garrison, would you like to have any updates for Hartsville? Let me see if I can. Oh no. I have to promote a little bit. Try to get her set up. That did not work. So, you got any updates for us?
I do. Thank you for promoting me there. You don't get promoted very often. So thank you. Lots going on at Artsville. We're really kind of back, opened up, and we're just about at that 100%. We're kind of using a little discretion with masks, but for most events, we're not managing that. So on March 19th, which is a Saturday, we'll have our first Cincinnati Poetry Slam, which will be back with Kim Bolden. And those doors will open at 5 o'clock. The tickets are $20, so you can pick up the tickets at Artsville, or you can go to cincinnatipoetryslam.com. That's always a great event, and we always have a great turnout. So if you're interested, get your tickets because they're just about gone. On April 8th, we will have our end of Lent second fish fry for those who did not make it in March. When we first started, again, great turnout, just an amazing turnout. It was cold that day, but we thank those who did come out. Hopefully you'll come back on April the 8th. That fundraiser, the proceeds go to keeping our programming costs very low for the kids for the summer programming. April 9th, we are working hopefully with Playhouse to bring in a performance that evening at 7 o'clock, which would be The Little Mermaid. We're working to see if we can get that accomplished. We had some openings, so we're trying to see if that will work. We'll kind of get the information out here in the next couple of days just to confirm that. The tickets would be there at Artsville at minimal cost. On April 16th, I guess with the iHeart, we will be open during the day. We will have a young man in there who has lived in India for the last 10 years and will be showing us how to do block painting on clothing. So that's going to be a real treat for folks who've never done that or seen it before. On April 21st, we're going to be doing Read Across Madisonville with John P. Parker. That will begin at 4 o'clock. That is a free event, so that'll run from 4 to 6. On April 23rd, mark your calendars. Taft Museum is coming out. They will be doing their closing reception for their Duncanson Artist in Residence. The young lady is Anjanae Dawkins. You can go to their website and kind of read up on her. She is a writer, a poet, and a teacher. She will be doing some work previously for 2 or 3 weeks in the city with some of our schools and our children, but they have chosen Artsville to do their closing ceremonies. It is a free event. It will be 7 to 9 p.m. Anjanae will be our focal point, but we'll also have a couple of other local artists there that evening as well. So the only thing you want to be aware of as some of their descriptions, and I think in her work, may talk about domestic violence. So if you have some concern about bringing children or something, please just be aware. I think that's it. I'm not going to go any further. I don't want you to lose sight. But keep those things in mind and kind of watch our Facebook. We're working to redo our website, so that'll be coming up here in the next few weeks as well. Any questions for me?
Yeah, I got a quick question. What is
Sure.
the cost for the fish fry and playhouse in the park?
The fish fry, the fish dinners are 15, and we are offering chicken strips this time because we found out a lot of the kids don't necessarily like fish. So it is $12. And that is up on the website if you're interested. And the Playhouse and the Park tickets, we normally do the adults that are at 7 and the children are at 5.
All right, thank you very much. All right, looks like there's no more questions. We'll move on to Jill Smith from Cincinnati Children's Home.
Oops, good evening, everyone. Trying to get my technology to work here. But with the Children's Home, we've had some big news, which you may have seen in the press, or even when you've driven by our campuses at 5050 Madison and 4550 Red Bank. The Children's Home in St. Aloysius, we have actually merged together to become one. And we will be moving forward together as Best Point Education and Behavioral Health. So it is very exciting. Our services will remain the same. We will be operating out at the old St. Aloysius in Bond Hill. And there's also a location in Claremont and Butler County. But you may have seen those signs change, and they no longer say the Children's Home. They now say Best Point Behavioral Health. We also have a new website, bestpoint.org, which will actually, our old website will direct you there as well. So we are focused on integrating our services together, which is very, very exciting, I feel, for the community. And that's my big update.
All right. Oh, we got one question here from Ann Bolin. Oh.
Jill, I just wanted to make sure your job was still there, that you will still be serving our community.
I am. I'm the Vice President of Operations.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well
And I
deserved.
know I haven't been on here. It's been on and off. I've been taking care of my dad. So sometimes that got in the way, but I'm excited that I was able to be here tonight.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you. Congratulations. And then we'll move on to Meek. And then we'll finish off the business chamber after her. So that'll be Abby from Meek. All right, Abby, you still there? Oh no, took too long.
Can't hear you, Abby. See you talking though.
I'm unmuted. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Sorry, I was like sneezing and couldn't get it turned on fast enough. Yeah, so Meek, I don't have a whole lot of news right now. For the month of April, we're doing the same food distribution. First Tuesday, April 5th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for food. And then the third Tuesday is April 19th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. for food. And then we are going to be having some changes to that process starting in May. I don't have a lot of details yet, but I just want to let everyone know to keep an eye out for that. We'll be sending out emails, posting on the website, flyers, and everything. So just look for that in the next few weeks.
All right. Thanks for that update. Anne's got her hand raised again. Quick question for you.
Again, so Abby, you put in the chat, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew. When Jill was talking about this and Community Action Agency and all that, for Madisonville, we can call Meek and you will tell us where we can go for whatever we need. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the CARES funding, we are happy to help folks do those applications, track them, fill out forms, connect with landlords, whatever you need for it, we can definitely do that. Me and Tanya have been doing a lot of those applications. So you just give us a call.
You're a lot more convenient for our residents than the other places. So thank you.
Right. Yeah, thanks for asking that, Ann.
All right, great. I think now we'll move on to the business chamber here. Terry's got an update for us. Should I go ahead and, Terry, should I go ahead and pull up the presentation?
Okay, before we get to the presentation, I want to tell you about the Small Business Chamber. The Small Business Conference we're having on Monday, March the 28th at the Summit Hotel. We have a lot of outstanding presenters who are going to join us. We are having Jan Michelle Kearney, who is going to be our keynote speaker in the morning for breakfast, and Kate Bodos and JJ Gioducci will be doing our lunch keynote speakers. It is only $25. And it gets you breakfast, it gets you lunch, it gets you headshots. You have access to vendors in the atrium at the summit. You get a swag bag with chock full of goodies from places such as Microsoft, the Cheesecakery, and Duke Energy. And then there's a happy hour at Artsville from 5 to 7. So we will be continuing to take reservations until March the 22nd, and then it will close. So go in and access that and get your tickets. Okay, that's all I have for that one. And do you want me to go ahead and do the other one now?
Yep. Yep, we got
okay.
Time for that.
All right, I want to talk to you tonight about the Madisonville Business District and nodes and what those mean. Last year in September, the CNBDU board, which is Cincinnati Neighborhood Business District United, had been working to verify and update the boundaries for all neighborhood business districts. There is a boundary definition included in the Neighborhood Business District Improvement Program, which is a grant packet that gets distributed annually as part of our funding cycle, as well as a map on Cincinnati Area Geographic Information System, and that is the CAGES system. These two are not always the same, and they were looking to correct and make any changes so that everyone's district is documented properly. Next slide.
Here we go. Right. Okay.
All right, so the next one, click on the map. Okay, got it. Okay, so here's the map. In red is the current business district, and blue is what was proposed, and in green is the node. So we were asked 4 questions. And the first question was, does the page summary that we initially got accurately reflect the boundary as we understood it? The answer was no, it didn't match CAGES. There were just some discrepancies. And it says, if there are discrepancies between CAGES and in the NBDIP definition, which one was correct? CAGES was more accurate. Then the next question was, if the boundaries are correct, but you don't believe accurately encompasses your NBD, would you like to propose any additions and subtractions? So in the blue on the polygon, you will see the proposed additions. So the change would be just east of Eversole, which would include 5616 Madison Road on the north. That means it would add Sunny Mart and Above the Rim. And then you would extend the MBD south to Madison to the corner of Madison and Eversole. And that would include 5629 Madison Road, which includes the Ice House and Gaines United Methodist Church. It does not include Madison Villa. Okay, if you go along to Wetzel, just north of Sierra should read 5110 Wetzel to Erie. So the boundary would stop right after the police substation and go down and adds Peabody to Carruthers.
Okay, sorry, got confused there. There we go.
Yeah, I just did it in one big swoop. Okay. Okay, and next slide. Well, you can stay on that slide. Go down to the node, the proposed node.
Yep.
On and the last question was, considering the current proposed draft definition of a node, is there one part of the neighborhood you think could be eligible to be a node? And the consensus was Bramble and Wetzel to be considered a node. Now you will see some boundaries, but we didn't put those boundaries in there. That may have been done by the people working on it in CNBDU. And then that's it. And the reasoning that we put in there was based on their draft, the definition of a node, which means it would be walkable with one or more businesses, and Bramble and Wetzel does do that. Sarah Sheets is on the board and she is in agreement with the changes. And that is it. Does anybody have any questions?
Seeing any at the moment. Would maybe, oh, wait, got raised hand. And go ahead.
So the CMBDU approved it, but then did the MKirk board approve it as well?
Sarah is on the board and in a meeting.
She doesn't speak for the whole board. I think Naima is on the call. I just wanted to confirm that the whole board for MKirk approved it.
I wouldn't know if they approved it. In a meeting with Naima and Sarah, they said, Sarah said that she agreed. So you would have to ask Naima or Sarah.
But you're not working with them on this.
How much guarantee?
Naima can speak up if.
Good.
Did you unmute me, Carrie?
Yes, I did. If you were chiming in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We haven't had a meeting to have an official vote, but that's correct. Yeah, we do support the expansion of the node. And I believe, I can't speak for the other part on Madison, but I have no doubt that we would be supporting that and supporting that as well.
Thanks, Naima.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got this on Friday of last week. So it's kind of a rush to put it in front of council, because we did not want to go forward with it without allowing the community to know what we were doing or what we were asking.
Can you speak towards the grants and like the funding opportunities? I'm sure if you mentioned that before, I just wanted to circle back to that and how this would affect those opportunities.
Well, they haven't really gave a good definition of a node. So if they are approved for a node, they could possibly be eligible for NBDIP and NBDSF funds.
And just to review, like those businesses don't apply for those grants per se, right? Like a community organization applies for them. Is that right?
Right, it would have to go through either MKirk or normally for MBDIP, it would be MKirk. MBDSF for the past couple of years, it has been the chamber.
Okay. Yep. I just wanted to make sure that was clear for folks. It's a lot of acronyms, so it's easy to get confused or get lost here. Do you have some questions from Alex? Just what about, the Red or Mazunte or School of Rock? So
could you pull the map back up for everybody? The Red has been there. So School of Rock is in that. So if we could go down Madison.
Yep. So yeah, School of Rock and Mazunte are currently in the existing business district. Oh, it's possible he was referring to the other Mazunte, I believe.
No, that end of the street is not a part of the MBD.
I guess I think I need to actually like look it up, but ours is one of like the longer ones as it is. In the future, like, do you have any like feedback from them? Because this just seems like an update to make sure that all the records match. Do you have any feedback on how hard it would be to change it in the future if any kind of desires change, in the neighborhood?
I'm not sure how hard it is, but even if this is accepted, it still has to go to council for approval. So I am not sure how MKirk would feel about taking the MBD all the way across Red Bank. I can't right now see that. That would probably have to be a conversation.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yep, just wanted to make sure, because obviously we've got a lot of like overlays and maps, and it's kind of hard to keep them straight sometimes. And then of course, yeah, so if it has to be approved by city council, then yeah, obviously that's not going to be a quick process in any case. I just have a comment from Mr. Capisser. The original boundaries of Madison go west on Madison all the way past Madison Bowl. There are businesses west of Stewart. Yeah, and that's, from my experience, a lot of people think that Madisonville ends and begins at Red Bank Expressway, and that is kind of frustrating and disappointing to get people to realize that we go all the way to the rail line past Madison Bowl. But maybe in the future, if the node concept is popular, because like right now, like Terry said, it's just one node per member of CNBDU. So maybe in the future we can have more nodes around the neighborhood to acknowledge that. Although in this case, the goal is a walkable node, and so most of anything west of Stewart it's pretty rough at the moment when it comes to walkability.
Right, one or more businesses, and it's not manufacturing businesses, it's walkable retail.
Okay, right. So yeah, retail as opposed to another business like a apartment complex or something like that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Do you need a letter of support from the community council today?
Today? I don't think today. I just needed to put it past you right now so that we could go ahead and send the board member who worked on this, whether or not we're okay with what we're doing, for them to move forward. So if they need a letter, I will let you know.
Okay. Yep. Same thing. A lot of the other grant programs are same way, right? Where some of them ask for support from the community and some don't. So appreciate
Right.
that heads up.
Okay.
We've got another comment from Mr. Capisser. That does not include a node for the built out area around MedPace and beyond. Yeah, so I think, yeah, for Terry's spot there, since we only can ask for one node.
No, well, not necessarily.
Yep.
So we did not put MedPace as a node because they have their own entertainment district. So there's no reason to really mess with that or request that. They're really self-sufficient, and I don't think that they would want to do it anyway.
Yep. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, all right, I think, Amanda, there haven't been any more questions online?
There are not.
Okay. So talking about this has actually reminded me of some news that just came out from the city that I forgot to mention earlier. But that request that we had for traffic calming, we had the survey that we went out in December, got that feedback in January and submitted. We voted on what projects we wanted to support because we only could support 2 road segments in the neighborhood. And that was for every community council in the city. So they did release a memo yesterday announcing how they're going to move forward with that program. And that was going to be either speed cushions, which are the modified speed humps for emergency vehicles, and then possible bump outs at crosswalks and intersections. And so they released a list that they're going to fund 10 of them, and we did not make the cut with either of our submissions. I believe our request for the eastern end of Madison Road, that was, I was told, was number 30. And Bramble Avenue was second to last. They used a scoring system based on available crash data. And so that gives you an idea. If you look at that list of 10, which would be in the meeting minutes, they're really bad. So for example, one of them, like Warsaw, I think I was told had 12 or 13 pedestrians hit by cars last year, right? And so it's kind of hard for us to kind of compete with those kind of numbers. There's Reading Road is another really bad one. Hamilton Avenue is another really bad one. So, we're not getting something from that program yet, but we're in that queue. There is an official queue still. So if there's extra money that can be found, it's possible that they might be able to get around to us, and we'll update you if we hear anything. So at this time, are there any general body public announcements from anyone? If not, I think it's safe to call this meeting to a close. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you.